Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am a recent graduate. I graduated college a year ago, like next week it'll be a year. So I am new to the workforce in accounting, so I'm an accountant, I'm an auditor actually. So I was gonna do a video because I have finished 2 audits now. So I wanted to discuss the differences between local audits and travel audits. And there's probably gonna be tons of opinions because I like one a lot more than the other. It won't take too long before you realize where I'd rather be. Also, if you're wondering why this random picture here, this is a puzzle of Chattanooga, my favorite city, Chattanooga, Tennessee. There's a missing puzzle piece right there, but hopefully you guys can't see it now that I pointed it out and maybe all you noticed. Also, I rigged it with some yarn at the top because the little holes, it was way too high up, like you could only see half the picture. I just wanted to give you guys something to look at besides just me, so you can just stare at this beautiful scenery of Chattanooga if you want to. Just ignore the yarn at the top, I know it looks dumb. So yes, I graduated in May, and then I took additional summer classes. I took 5 extra classes so I could qualify for the CPA exam. Here in Tennessee, you needed 150 credit hours, so I graduated with 135, took 5 additional classes. Now I have 150, and I am currently studying for the CPA exam. I work for the state government of Tennessee, so I hired on in September, on 9/11 actually, pretty Memorial Day, you know. And I immediately got sent off to a travel audit. So those of you that are subscribed and who have seen my vlogs, let's all laugh at my very first vlog of my first week at work. I think it's my second vlog. That was the most stressful week of my entire life, like not exaggerating at all. I sometimes will go back and watch it just to laugh. So I took off on a travel audit from Nashville. I had just moved to Nashville, hadn't even met my roommates yet because I came back from vacation. I met my roommates off Craigslist. It was such a stressful time, if you guys can't tell already. And I immediately got sent off to Memphis for my first travel audit. And I was there for 3 months. I came home on the weekends, obviously, so I was there for the week, for 3 months. And then they sent me on a local audit. We wrapped that audit up in December. And then I came and did a single audit, which if you guys are not familiar with what that is, since we're in the government sector, if an institution spends more than $750,000 of grant money, so if they receive more than $750,000 to spend it somehow, we have to make sure they're spending it in the right way that the grantors told them to spend it. That's called a single audit. It doesn't take time at all. It took us about 4 weeks to do that. And then I actually did the annual audit starting in January. So I've been here in Nashville on a local audit for the past 5 months. So this particular video is going to be kind of weird for people who are working at a firm or thinking about working at a firm in public accounting or private accounting or whatever you may be considering, because government audits are very different than public audits. Ours last a whole lot longer. If you're working for a public client, you can be in and out of their audits within 2 weeks, and you'll do a lot of your audit work at your office, wherever you actually work. For us, we are at the audit site, at the auditee, for the entire length of the audit. We only go to our office, which is in downtown Nashville. I've only been there like maybe 5 times. We have training every now and then. In the springtime, we have lots of training. So I just went to training last week for 2 days. I have training next week for 2 days because it is our off season. We only work 37.5 hours a week. I don't know if every state is like that, if it's just Tennessee, but that's the law for government state employees. They only work 37.5 hours a week. And you have comp time if you work more than that, if you're working on a project or whatever. We do have a busy season from September. It's about August, September through December, where we work about 45 hours a week. And I know you guys are laughing who work for public firms and you're working like 60 hours a week for tax season. This was the #1 reason I wanted to work for government. Once I realized they do not work a lot of hours, I was like, sign me up, because I'm all about the weekends and doing some fun stuff, not being at work. So however many hours we worked over 37.5 in our busy season, we got to take that time off in the spring. So I think I still have, let's see, it's the end of April. I think I still have like 8 hours of comp time. I started out with like 52 hours I could use. So I've been taking them in like 2 hours at a time. I did take a whole day off twice. But anyways, that's just the technicalities of it. So government work is, we do have a whole lot longer audits. We're there for a very long time. That's just how it works. We get everything done. It just takes a little longer than it would if you were working for a public accounting firm. So I'm gonna talk about the travel audit first, since that's what I did first. I would say several of the pros for travel audits. would be number one, you get to travel. So if that's something you like to do, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. You get to see new places. Now I was literally at the same exact spot every single week for 3 months. So it kind of became like a second home though, because I really got to know the area that my oddity was at. I knew all the restaurants. I really got to know the hotel staff. That's another thing. You'll obviously be staying in a hotel every week, so you have to like hotels. But I knew the hotel staff by their first name. Then like when I left my audit, it was like, oh, I feel like I'm leaving a whole town. Like I feel like I just uprooted and moved because I got to know those people so well. Because I stayed at the same hotel all 3 months. Don't have to join a gym if you are on a travel audit because you got your hotel gym. If that's your thing, if you like to run or lift weights or whatever, you know, stay healthy. You don't have to pay for gym membership fees. Some companies will pay for your gym membership though, so if you work for private accounting or whatever, then you don't have to worry about that anyways. Also don't have to pay for cable television. I love that because I was on that audit from September to December, so the Christmas Hallmark movies were on, and I did not want to have to pay for cable at home if I was never going to be home. So I got to watch all the Christmas Hallmarks in the comfort of my hotel room, and it was fantastic. Loved it. Another thing that a lot of people don't think about is the continental breakfast. If your hotel has that, then that's breakfast provided that you don't have to worry about what you're gonna eat in the morning. Now for us specifically, we go to work at 6 a.m. So we can get off later. So we work 10-hour days, we work 6 to 5 on our travel audits. So the hotel breakfast did not open till 6, so we didn't get that benefit, but they did have complimentary breakfast. So that's pretty cool. You also get money for food, depending on what your work's policies are or what have you. We got a pretty good significant amount every day for food. So I ended up making an income from that because I didn't really want prime rib every day, you know? I'm a pretty simple eater. I just like salad, burgers, and sandwiches and cereal. So that was pretty nice. And it was definitely changed when I went to the local audit. I didn't have any money for food. You're literally spending every single dollar at the groceries out of pocket. I wasn't used to that, but I guess that's what everyone does every week. That's what the normal person does. And your gas is paid for. Now, you don't get paid for your normal commute. So like for me, it takes me 30 minutes to get from my apartment to the office. So I don't get paid that amount of time or that mileage on the travel audit. So however long it takes me to get from my house to my audit site, I subtract 30 minutes. But that's another technicality. But you have your gas paid for. We have rental cars, but we have to carpool with how our system works. So if we don't want to carpool, we can drive our own car, and then we're reimbursed for mileage. Or you can have a rental car and not put miles on your car, but then you have to carpool with somebody. You will be spending a lot of time with your coworkers. That's something I didn't really consider starting this job, but that's on travel audit or local audit. We were just in a tiny little room every single day, 37.5 hours a week. So I got to know my coworkers really well. And it's sad for us like leaving audits if you really like your people. Like this audit I'm on right now, I really like my team. And I'm gonna be gone in 2 weeks, and will I ever see them again? Maybe at training. I don't know if I'll ever be on an audit with them again. We have so many auditors, so you just never know. The biggest benefit of a travel audit that I did not realize while I was on it was the fact that you do not have to commute daily to work. My hotel was 2 minutes from my auditee site. So we went to work at 6 a.m. I left the hotel room at 5:54 every morning and made it to work at 6. I left at 5 p.m., which would typically be rush hour. I was in Memphis, made it back to the hotel room, and at about 5:05, had the whole evening to myself. That's a different story on this local audit. I will get to that in a minute. With travel audits, you will have lots of alone time, and you go straight to work with your coworkers, and then you come home to your hotel room all by yourself, unless you have family or a spouse or somebody that comes with you for that week. But if they're working at their job, then how are they going to be able to come with you to your job? So there is lots of alone time. I'm putting this with the pros of travel right now because I'm studying for this exam, and I need all of the focused, quiet time to study for this CPA exam. It's taken me several months, and I'm excited about my travel audit coming up because I'll get to be in a hotel room and get to focus every night on studying, whereas it's a little more of a distraction here at my own apartment. On a travel audit, you also get to try new food at all new restaurants at the place where you're at or whatever. That's kind of cool. You get to try new foods, see new people. Also, the other people on business, throughout the week, the hotels are really quiet. My whole life, obviously, you only spend the night in a hotel on the weekends, and it's just really rowdy and loud, but that's the weekenders. The people on business throughout the week, it's just really mellow, really quiet. Everyone's getting up early for work. Everyone goes to bed early. So it's just a really quiet, homey place, and I really enjoyed it. Another benefit of travel for us in the government sector, or not even probably any other state, just my particular team maybe, I don't know, is that we had 4-day weeks of work. We worked 3 10s and then a 7.5-hour day on Thursday, and then went home Thursday night. We had 3-day weekends every single weekend. Busy season, we did work on Friday, but I never made it home later than 3 p.m. So no matter what, the longest week, we were home by 3 p.m. on Friday. So that's pretty sweet. I have my notes here, that's why I keep looking down so I don't forget anything. So that is all my pros for travel that I can think of at the moment. So the cons are just kind of the reverse of the pros for travel. You will not see your family every day, obviously. So if you have a spouse, you won't get to snuggle up with them every night. That's pretty obvious. But also going with that, if you have kids and they play sports, you won't get to go to their sporting events throughout the week. That's another obvious one. And the tournaments that carry over from Monday to Friday, you'll just have to take leave. My coworker has taken leave for 2 weekends to go watch his son's baseball games. It's just up to your employer if that's okay. You won't get to go to church small groups, you know, like Wednesday night meetings or Tuesday nights. If that's your kind of thing, you'll have to miss out on that. Spending time with family throughout the week. If so-and-so's birthday's next Thursday and everyone's throwing them a birthday party, you don't get to go to that. You get to miss out on Tuesday pint nights at Aubrey's, if anybody's into that. You can't schedule doctor's appointments throughout the week, and that is such a random thing. I just wanted to throw that in there because it's something you don't really think about. I scheduled 2 appointments on a Wednesday on my travel audit, and my coworkers were like, what are you doing? Like, reschedule those. And so I did, but I don't know what I was thinking. I literally scheduled them in the middle of the week. So you can't do that. You kind of have to make sure they have one open for Monday or Friday, if they're even open on Fridays. If you get sick throughout the week, it gets kind of complicated on how your hours work. That is obviously flexible with whoever you work with. I had lots of sick leave during my travel audit because I had some stomach problems going on. There was one day I got sick on like a Tuesday. I woke up feeling horrible, so I took the whole day off. So then I only worked Monday, and so I took leave, but I couldn't go home. But you're still in the hotel room. You guys get the idea. It just kind of complicates things. You don't get to run home and have your husband or wife, you know, nurse you while you're sick. 2 other cons would be, 1, you have to get good sleep on Sunday nights if you drive to your audits. A lot of states or other audits in general fly, so they ride a plane. We drive to all of our audits in Tennessee, and there were several times I did something fun or whatever on the weekend and didn't go to bed until late Sunday night. And I was driving all the way to Memphis, like holding my eyes open, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall asleep at the wheel. And so and it gets monotonous because you're taking the same exact trip every single week. Same goes for Friday. For some reason, when I was on my travel audit, so I tried to make myself go to bed by 9 o'clock every single night because I was getting up at 5. It never really worked. I was always asleep by like 10:30 though, but there were some nights I'd stay up late on Thursday or Wednesday nights, whichever time I went home, Thursday or Friday. I would stay up that late because I'm like, oh, I'm only working like 2 hours, I'm driving home. But then I'm like, but you're operating a car for like 4 hours. You gotta make sure you have sleep and you're well rested. Just because it's a short day doesn't mean you can't just take a nap as soon as your shift is over. The other thing is you're most likely going to be less willing to travel on the weekends. You may not be, maybe it doesn't affect you, but for me, working in Memphis, driving back to Nashville, most of my friends were in Chattanooga since I went to college around there. So I went to Chattanooga several of those weekends, but I was just exhausted. Like by the time I drove all the way from Memphis to Nashville, it's 3.5 hours, and then Chattanooga was 2 hours. One of the holidays, I guess it was Thanksgiving, I drove all the way from Memphis to Knoxville, where my family's from, and that was like an 8.5-hour trip, and I was just exhausted and had worked a 6-hour day that day. It's harder to make weekend plans away from your home if you spend all day traveling. And my mom can relate on that as well. She flies to all of her stuff. She's not an accountant. She does another job, but she travels every single week by plane. And when she gets home Fridays, she's just like tired. It's just like, it's hard to explain. Well, you guys know, like when you guys travel all day, you're just like, you just want to sleep when you get back. You don't really want to do everything crazy. One of the biggest cons of travel is you can't have a dog. Unless you have one of those husbands that people keep talking about that can watch your dog for you. You can't have one, and it is so sad. That is the hardest thing I'm coming to grips with because I want a dog so bad. So now I will talk about the local audits. They are kind of the reverse of the travel audits, the pros and cons. Obviously pros, you're gonna be home every night, so you'll be with your family just like any other job. You'll work your 8 to 5 or whatever you work, you'll get to be home. You can cook dinner. You can't cook in a hotel unless you have to have a kitchen and you have like ground beef in the fridge. You can't really cook in a hotel room. So if that's your kind of thing and you like preparing meals for your family, you can only do that if you're on a local audit. You can visit your family throughout the week. If so-and-so's got a birthday party, you can show up to it. It's just like any other thing. You can go to your kids' baseball games, your basketball games. You obviously will know your home area really well, like the streets and your city that you live in. You'll know where to go, where not to go. That's just kind of given. You don't really know that on a travel audit, but you do get to know it. And I'm so impressed with myself how well I know Memphis now, when I had never been there ever my whole life until that audit. And now I feel like I could roam the streets and I know where I'd be and where not to be. You obviously have family and friends nearby. If that's your city and everyone lives there with you, then that's a pro. So you can call them up and go hang out with them on a Tuesday night for pint night. You'll be more willing to travel on the weekends. If somebody has some bachelorette party you're trying to get to, you probably won't have a problem with getting there because you won't be so, I want to say jet lag, but you're literally not on a jet, so you're not jet lagged. Car lagged, so you won't be car lagged on the weekend, so you can go. And you can schedule your doctor's appointments throughout the week. That's such a random one, but like my doctor is only open, and my specific GI doctor only does office visits on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I was like, buddy, how am I gonna see you when I go into the travel audit? So let's just hope I don't have more stomach problems. That's the solution we came up with. You get to have a dog when you're on a local audit, guys. You can go get a dog, you can rescue it from the pound, and you can love it unconditionally. You will have to pay for your food on a local audit. Everything comes out of pocket just like anybody else's job. So you pay for all your groceries, all your food, all your breakfast, lunch, dinner. You'll be paying for gas when you're driving to work, and oil changes, and paying for all your car maintenance. You will be driving your personal car. One of my coworkers on the travel audit, he bought a brand new car years ago and he still has less than 1,000 miles on it. He literally never drives it because he's always on a travel audit, and I guess he doesn't go anywhere on the weekends. So I don't know, what's the point of having a car if you don't want to put miles on it? To me, it's practical. You buy a car so you can drive it places. But anyways, we all have different views on that. You'll have to pay for cable if you're trying to watch A Christmas Kiss on Hallmark. I really hope I get to go on a travel audit this December so I can watch all the movies. Actually, they start on like Halloween, so November and December. If I could be on a travel audit, that'd be cool. Biggest con with local audits, oh my word, is the daily commute to work. Guys, I live in Nashville, just moved here as I explained. I live 30 minutes south of the city, so my local audit is in the city. So in the mornings, it only takes me 30 minutes to get to work. In the afternoon, it takes about 2 hours, okay? It takes me about 2 hours to get home. So I've got it down to a science though, so I go to work at 6, but that's before any traffic. And if I leave anytime after 3:30, we're talking an hour and a half to get home. So I typically work 6 to 2:30, and then I work every single day of the week, 6 to 2:30, Monday through Friday. So, that's not too bad. It's not a lot of hours, whatever. I'm used to having 3-day weekends for my travel audit, and I don't have that option here. There were 2 weeks during this entire 5 months that I was like, I'm gonna take Friday off, so I'm just gonna work Monday through Thursday. And I sat in traffic for 2 hours every single night, both of those weeks. That is horrible. And I'm sitting here trying to study for the exam, CPA exam. So I try to be home at a decent time so I can study all night. I still try to be in bed by 10. And it's hard to put all that together. You're sitting here trying to make dinner for yourself, trying to pack your lunch for the next day. There's just so much to do, and I just don't want to waste time in a car. I can't handle it, guys. I seriously can't handle it. So all this being said, I hope that this helped you guys think about the pros and cons of travel and local audits, if it's something you guys are interested in. I hope this helped you guys make a decision, or just if you guys were curious about the differences between local and travel audits, then there you go. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, comment below. I will reply right back. I get notifications when you guys comment, so I try to reply back because a lot of you guys' questions are really good and I'd love to answer them. I don't know why I'm holding the string here. I keep playing with it. I will see you in my next video. I feel like I'm in middle school. I've not scrunched my hair since middle school. Oh my God, that's so hot. Excuse me. They say auditors are weird, guys. I don't get it.